Hi guys, I am going to show you how to create an activity in or communication boards in Boardmaker Online. You are going to need to get a free account for Boardmaker and sign up for the 30-day free trial of Boardmaker Online. I can't go through showing you how to do that for time, plus also I've already done it, so I can't show you how to do that process, but I'm sure Mike can help you with it if you have trouble with that. All right, so I am logged into Boardmaker, logged into my account, and then I'm going to go here to my Boardmaker and create activity. So when you start creating an activity in Boardmaker Online, it gives you the option to decide which type of activity you want. And I would say you want to go ahead and play around, not for this assignment, but at some point play around with all of the stuff that is here. Boardmaker, some people, now for low tech stuff, there is another product that I think is easier than Boardmaker and has a lot of options and is really cool. And I think you've had that in a happy. But I love Boardmaker, and for communication, when I taught in the classroom, my kids had Boardmaker with Speaking Dynamically Pro. That's the dynamic display communication software that my students used back in the 90s, actually. Boardmaker has changed and evolved over time, and they've added some stuff, and now they have this Boardmaker Online. Well, the cool thing about it, and they've had this for a long time, not just with Boardmaker Online, but they've had the community where you can go in and you can download materials that other teachers have uploaded. So you see the community tab over here. Go there and explore. You can explore by activity type, by a lot of different ways, age level. Anyway, go there and explore. But anyway, so when you create it, you see you still have a lot of choices, and some of that's based on like those activities that are in the activity center. We're going to do, for now though, we're going to keep it simple for this assignment, because the idea here really is for you to be able to create some communication boards. And remember, they have to have the function of communication. These can't be behavior boards. These can't be like a visual tool. This needs to be communication, and each board you create needs to serve some kind of communicative function. So this isn't, oh, we're going to practice our, I'm going to give them the, I'm going to put in a bunch of vocabulary words and they can just listen to the vocabulary words in it. That's not the function here. The function here is for a kid to be able to communicate during instruction. If instructional responding is your communication that you are selecting. All right, so go to communication and participation and interactive. I'm going to start with, this is probably one of the ones that you want to start with, and just depending on the age level of the student you selected, what you're going to select here is going to be the first board. So this is going to be the home board, and then you're going to need to create launching boards off of this one. So I'm going to click here, and I want to select the template. Now, the first time you run this, it might tell you that you have to enable Flash. You are going to have to Google how to do that on your computer. I've done this on my Mac and on my PC. I'm on my Mac right now. It works the same way for both, but you have to go and make sure that Flash Player is enabled so that you can use Boardmaker Online. And again, that's something you're going to have to discover and do a little bit of a Google search, find out how to enable that on your own computer. I had to do it in two different ways, one for my Mac and one for my PC. All right. So I'm here and I am ready to get set up, and I'm ready to go. So when I start, I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to take off the directions here. All right. So I'm just clicking on box. What I do is I click on the box and then I hit delete on the keyboard. So to put the title in, I highlight, it has the little grab bars, the little yellow squares around it. Those are the grab bars. And I'm going to go into the label tab on the side, and I'm going to type the label of my, what I want to call it. I want to call it Nathan's Home Board. I don't know, come up with something more creative. I am not in a creative mood at the moment. All right, I click off of that and I click somewhere on the background, and notice it gives me this option to either put a background image or to change the background color. And I'm going to go do that and make it a nice, this lavender color. If you want to change the color behind the buttons on this pre-made page, you can do that. Click on one. I'm clicking on the button, and then if I click over here, not on layout, sorry, on properties, and scroll down, you notice I'd be able to change the color. I'm not going to change the color on the button right now because I really wanted to show you how to create the home page, create a launch page, and then I'm going to show you how to create an interactive activity to, and then you're going to take it from there and create things that would be appropriate for the student you selected. All right, so to start out with, let me just show you how to get started. And I'm doing very minimal boards. You need to make sure every button on your board has a symbol, it has text, and it has functions, and it will work. So they don't all have to have functions and work, but they all need to have symbols or text or text. Follow the instructions in the written assignment about how many pictures, how many symbols, and everything that you need. Okay, so for my first one, for my home page, I would start with like big categories, and these would be categories that Nathan needs to talk about. So the first category I'm going to choose is about me. So I'm going to click on choose symbol, go into the symbol finder, and in the symbol finder window, I'm going to type me and hit enter. All right, and it gives me choices for a symbol for me. And I'm going to make this one Nathan's symbol. All right, now I want this to say about me because this is what I want Nathan to know. This is the button that's about him. So I'm clicking on it, and when I see the label, I'm just going to replace the label with about me. Okay. The next thing I'm going to put in, I probably wouldn't really put this second. I'm going to put this over here. I would fill in all of these for big categories of areas where he wants to branch off and go talk, things that he wants to go talk about. Yeah, but I'm going to use this one over here, and I'm going to choose symbol. In the symbol finder, I'm going to type school. I'm going to find a picture of a school. I like this one. And select. All right, and it put that in there. So, so now the one weird thing about Boardmaker Online versus just the software, things tend to go away for some reason, and it's probably user error. I'm not as familiar with using it here as I am with the software, but so I'm going to come back in here and type the label because it disappeared. I'm going to type school stuff. Now you can change the font. So if I have that highlighted and I go down, I can change the font. I can change the, let's say I want to make it whatever this font is. But you just want to be consistent. So whichever font you use it throughout. If you make it bold, you can do that. So just there. All right, so fill out the home board with categories that your student would talk about. Now for each one, for the categories, for you to get to the real communication boards, you're going to have those linked to another board that then lets them branch to specific topics. In this case, I am going to, so to create new boards, you go to the top left over here, and right under the symbol finder, you click on the little page thing, that little thing that looks like multiple pages, and it gives you the option of where you can add additional pages. This piece is actually easier in Boardmaker Online than it is in the software where you have to create a new board. All right, so I'm going to click the page, and this one I'm going to call school stuff. All right, so my new page has come up. Now this is going to be the school launching page. So this is still not a board where Nathan is going to go here and communicate. This is where he's going to get to other topics to communicate. So on this page, I'm going to put a label. So at the top, I'm selecting the text tool, and I'll put that in the middle. And let's change. We're going to call this school stuff. Whoops. And I will center it and make it larger and make it look nice. So please make sure that your boards are all nice and organized, etc. Now, I'm going to change the background color, and for this one, I'm making it hot yellow because of school buses. So now let me show you how to insert a new button and then spray buttons. But actually, I'm going to show you how to, for this one, I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to show you that, which is, yes, sorry, you guys, because I usually teach from the software. I'm a little bit out of sorts, but it's okay. All right, so go to the button tool, which looks like a single button in the top area. Click into the board, and then you can resize that to the size that you want. Now for Nathan, I'm going to make however many spray across. So I'm going to make it about this big, and then I'm going to spray 2 rows. So I have my button and I have the size I want. Instead of having to like copy, paste, and try to line it up, you use the spray tool, and it makes it really easy to make multiples of whatever button you're trying to do. So click on the spray tool, which in the top is the one that has the 4 little buttons on it, and then come down, click on this button and drag up and down. Like I'm going to drag across and down until it makes however many of these I want. So I'm just going to do that, and then click somewhere off of it. And I'm having to double click, except for then it's bringing up another menu. We'll talk about that menu in just a second. All right, so you have Nathan's home page all filled out with every category he might talk about. And now I have his school launching page. So on this school launching page, these would be subcategories of school places or things that he might want, conversations he might want to have at school. So in the top button, I'm going to go over choose symbol. And this one is going to be cafeteria. Oh, oops, I'm sorry, I'm looking for cafeteria. And I like this one of the 2 kids because I'm going to call this cafeteria chat. And I'm going to go into the second button and choose the symbol for math. And this is going to be math class. You get the point. This one is going to be, let's go here and choose another symbol for, like he might need to write when he's doing writing activities and needs to talk about and communicate in class of what he's doing. So let me select the symbol here. All right, so those are my symbols. Now, I want to go back and change these labels. So this would be, I guess it wouldn't, writing activities maybe. So communication that he needs to have about writing, this would be math activities. Now, when I say this, this is not, I'm not going to go in here and set up a bunch of math activities for him, not for this assignment. This software will do that. And I used to set up instructional activities on my kid's software, but the purpose for your assignment is communication. So this would be where he would go to communicate during math activities. And the one that I'm going to focus on here is cafeteria. I'm actually going to change this to cafeteria chat, because what I want to set up is I'm going to set up a dyadic conversation board where he could go and chat in the cafeteria with a friend. All right, so we have his home page, we have his school launching page. Now I'm going to create a cafeteria chat page. Go over to the left, click on new page, and this one is going to be called cafeteria chat. Now, what I do when I teach in class is I say save often, and look, I'm not doing that. I got to get this out of my Zoom window. Don't you know, I can't. So I'm struggling because I have Zoom covering up my controls, and there we go. I'm going to click save, and I'm going to save this as Nathan 3 because I've already done 2 test runs on this. So I would just say this is whatever. For you, for this class, you probably want to save it with your name in the file name so that Mike, you're going to also have to tag this so he can go in and find it. So, all right, let's get back at it. All right, so now the rest of the boards that I'm going to create that will come from that school launching page. Now you can make a home page and then a launching page and branch off of there, or you can branch everything off of a school page and then just make different types of communicative boards for the meeting your assignment requirements. I'm only going to demonstrate one more, and then it's up to you. And I want you to think beyond the cafeteria. This is not just about food, so don't just give a food choice board. because that's what everybody does. So you need to have boards that where you put some thought into what a kid of your age, the age kid you work with, and a kid with that same ability level, what kinds of things the kid would talk about, and what things that he or she would need to say. All right, so now since these are boards where the student will construct sentences by using different buttons to put them together to like make a whole sentence, we're going to add what's called a message window. So the top right button here is a message window tool. Click on that and bring it down. And then I'm going to move the message window. I don't want it to be super huge and take up the whole screen. So let's move it up a little bit right here. All right, I think we're good. Try to get it centered. Okay, so I have my message window now. I'm going to change my background color for this page to, I don't know, pink looks good. And now I'm going to start adding buttons and customizing this page based on Nathan's needs. I'm going to have you add a couple of things that will go on every board, and then I'm going to have you add the actual communication things that would make sentences. So let's do, the first thing I'm going to have you do is make one button, and we're going to make a little button up here near the top of the message window. And the symbol I'm going to choose is for speak. So I want this to, what we're going to do is we're going to add controls in here so that when Nathan has a sentence in that message window, he can click speak and it will say what's in the message window. I'm going to be lazy and spray another button just the same size. Click off of it. And then click on just that button, and I'm going to replace speak with erase. Okay. Now for these buttons, I'm not adding any speech to these. These are just going to control that message window, and I'll show you how to add the controls in just a minute. All right, so that's so that will be that button. The next thing I'm going to do is for Nathan, because in my mind, Nathan is a 5th grade boy with CP and autism, and he has pretty good communication skills. He can use this. I mean, he's starting to use it fairly well to make some sentences or whatever. So I'm going to add some buttons at the bottom that will be consistent across, that would be like quick speaking buttons. So he could just say yes, and it doesn't go into the middle of his sentence at the top. So at the bottom, I'm going to click. Whoops, what did I do? Anytime you mess up, if you use the arrow tool and click on whatever it is, you can hit delete on the keyboard and it will go away, or just use the arrow tool to get back onto it so that you can make the change. Okay, so right now I'm making a button that will, all I want this button to do is if a peer or teacher asks him a question, he can say yes really quickly, and it doesn't have to go into the message window to make like a full sentence. All right, so here's the trick though. Because I like to cheat, and back in the day when I was working with my kids, and sometimes would make a board right before we did an activity, because I was like, oh, we're gonna have this discussion. Oh, let me make a board. I could do boards really quickly. So I learned some shortcuts, and I like to cheat and use those shortcuts. This is one example. If you add programming behind a button before you spray it, you don't have to add programming to every single button. So for this button, when Nathan clicks it, I want it to say whatever is written on that button. So I'm going to double click on the button, or in the little menu, the properties menu over here, scroll all the way to the bottom and see where it says edit actions. Now, on the side, you see there are a bunch of different actions, and we can make that button do a variety of things. We're going to click speak label, because that means it's just going to say whatever's on the button. All right, and then now I'm going to click off of it, and I'm trying to look at, I made a sample over here, so I keep looking down to remember what I did. All right, so I'm going to use the spray tool, go over here, and spray some buttons that I'm going to have as the quick buttons for him. Actually, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spray one more here. And it'll make sense hopefully in just a second, although I'm not going to program them all out right here in front of you guys just because of time, because I'm teaching with Professor Grimm in about 15 minutes. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray one more button over here. And, oh, sorry, I keep double clicking when I don't mean to. All right, and then I'm going to make this button a little bit bigger. All right, so this button over here, actually, I just messed up. I really don't want this one to talk. I'm going to double click on it, bring up those controls, and remove speak label, because really what I would do with this one is this is the button where he could open a keyboard and then go type what he wants to say. So on this one, I'm going to hit keyboard. I'm going to go to the symbol finder, find keyboard. This one is going to do, and then that way he would be able to go and type it. The other thing that you want to make sure you put on all boards, and I'm going to copy these two buttons, so I'm just highlighting both. I use my arrow tool, drag across. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste these at the bottom. Well, they didn't go to the bottom, but I'm going to move them down there after I paste them. You always want the student to have an opportunity to go back a board in case they accidentally came here, and you always want them to have an opportunity to go back to the main page. So we're going to take out what's on here, and I'm going to find the symbol for last. I thought there was like an arrow that showed going back. Let me do back. Here we go. I'm going to use back. And in this one, this will be main. I don't love any of these symbols, but I'm just going to go with this one. Oh, I should have just gone, you know what, I should have just done no symbol and just had text. So you definitely can do that if I wanted to edit the symbol. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. You can do this. You can edit and change the symbols. In this situation, we're just going to go in here and take away the symbol. And I'm just going to leave the word main on there. Okay, so, and those are not going to talk. They are just going to control function. So over here on this one, for the label, I'm going to put yes, no, okay, whatevs. Okay, so these would be like quick words that he could just say. And then, of course, you also need to make sure that he has a way to ask questions and get someone else to interact. So he would have something like, tell me what you think. Please capitalize, make these, for the quick ones, it doesn't really, like which, why. Okay, so add questions, add anything you think that a kid would need to be able to interact and have somebody interact with them. One other thing that you want to add on a lot of times for kids, you want to make sure that they have an option to tell people to ask them a yes or no question. So I'm just going to type yes, and that symbol is going to be here. All right, yes, no. And then this one, okay, and then this one is going to be, I'm going to choose a symbol for wait. Okay, so now before I get into the other messages, then I want to show you how to do some of the programming here. All right, so these should just work. So all of those, remember we added the programming for it to speak label before we did anything else. So if I click on this and I look at what's programmed behind it, edit actions, and it shows you speak label, cancel. So if I go to play mode, I should not have done that because, oops, let me go back to design mode. I forgot that I was in. Let me go to, you know what? I can't show you. I'll just have to show you when we get there because, actually, let's add the link. Never mind. Let me just keep rolling. All right. So fill all these out, have all the words there. So for this one, I would have it linked to a board that would go to the keyboard, and I don't have one of those made. For this one, all right, so these are just gonna say yes. Like if he chooses this button, it will say yes. It's gonna say what's on the label. For this one though, we don't want it to just say yes or no. We actually want it to say, ask me a yes or no question. So even though the label says yes or no, we're gonna go down to edit actions, and we're gonna remove speak label, and we're gonna have it speak text. And then it's gonna, like, I'm gonna enter what I want that button to say. And I want it to say, ask me a yes or no question. Hit the check mark, hit save. And then for this one, edit action, this one, I'm gonna remove speak label, and I want it to say, I need to type, please wait. Okay. So on this, now these two buttons at the top, these are going to control the message window. So I am going to edit the action on this one. And what we want it to do is go to where it says you need to find the choices over here for the message window. And let me find what it's called, because it looks a little different than it does on the software. I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to search for let me search for speak. Here we go. It's going to speak the value all. So this way it's going to speak whatever goes into the message window. And I'm going to hit save. And then this one is going to erase the message window. So for this one, I'm going to bring up the actions. For this one, I thought I saw it in there, but let's look at clear message window, and then save. All right, now this one we're going to control the feature. This one is always going to just go back a board. So oh, I know why. Oh no, there is previous page. We're going to have it go back a page, and then click save. And then this one we're going to link back to the first page, which in this case is called choice board, because I did not rename it. And I should have renamed that, but let's go here. So I'm going to click on this one, and I want it to open page, and it's going to give me a choice of which pages I've made. So I'm going to select choice board and click OK, and then save. All right, let's go ahead and add a few other things to this page before we move on. All right, so I'm going to add one button here. And this is going to be the kind of the sentence starter for this board. The symbol I'm going to choose is chat. And that looks good enough. Let me choose this one. All right. And then I'm going to add one more button over here, and these are going to be the topics. So these are the things that Nathan is going to tell someone he wants to chat about. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat and insert. For these, I want it to insert label, which means it's going to send the text to the message window. And I want it to speak label. And that way it's going to speak whatever's on this button. So I'm going to do that before I spray it, so that all of these will do it. Then I'm going to go here, click, spray, and these are going to be the topics. So this button, this one is where he's going to say, let's chat about, I'm going to click on that one, and I want it to speak text. Oops, except for, that's okay. Speaking is fine. Let's chat about, but I also want it to insert text. In this situation, I need to make sure that I write so that it makes a, when he sees it, it makes a correct sentence. So I'm going to capitalize. Let's chat about, and I'm going to add a space after it. And hit save. Now, this one, let's say I'm going to have, he wants to chat about TV. And for the sake of time, I'm not filling out the rest of them. I'm just going to say that this is where he's going to tell somebody he wants to chat about TV. Oops, except for, so I'm actually going to add a period after TV so that it's going to make a full sentence. All right. I'm going to go up here and save, and then I'm going to play the, actually, I'm going to go do one more thing before I do that. All right, so I need to make sure that I link all of my boards together. So this is the board that I want to link to Cafeteria Chat. So when I get on this button and I double click it, what I want it to do is I want it to open page, and I want it to open Cafeteria Chat. All right, I'm going to make one more page, and this is going to be the TV chat. All right, so this would then be where now we come and we talk about TV shows. To cheat, I am going to go ahead and copy the message window and the speak and erase buttons and take them to the TV chat page. And I'm going to take these buttons, all this last name, keyboard, the quick answer, quick replies, I'm going to copy those. And I'm going to take those down and paste those. Now, all I need to do is add the content, so I can add like other things that he would say specifically about TV shows, questions he would ask about TV shows. My favorite show is, what is your favorite show? What do you like to, what do you like to watch? Oh, that show is cool. So I would add all these kinds of like things specific to TV shows that he would be able to chat about with his peers. So then on here, I also want to make sure that this button takes him to the TV chat page. So TV, and after I have the other thing though, anytime you're having it linked to a different page, make sure it inserts the label and speaks the label before it changes the page, because otherwise it'll change boards without speaking or without doing the other stuff. So we want it to open page, and this one's going to open TV chat. So easy peasy, I'm just linking the boards to what I want them to do. All right, so now I'm going to go back up to my menu. I'm going to click save. Whoops, get off of it. I'm not sure why it's not letting me save. It's always something. Don't know, but there is probably a reason. All right, let me come over here to play, and let me go to play. All right, so I have about me. Here's Nathan's home board, and you remember we programmed school stuff to go to the school launching page. School stuff. Or we didn't. Maybe I did not. Doggone it. All right, I must not have. And this one, because it was a pre-programmed board, you notice it talked. You don't necessarily have to have the labeled, the launching pages and home pages talk. No, I forgot to do this one. Sorry, you guys. I can't. I'm trying to do this really quickly for you. So, all right, open page, school stuff, save. All right, now let's try it again. Play. So again, you would have all the different big content areas that he can go to pick what he wants to do. I'm going to school stuff. Now he can pick math, writing, all the other things that you fill out for your kid, but I'm going to choose Cafeteria Chat. All right, now I get to Cafeteria Chat, and I click on Let's Chat About. Because remember, I have it sending that label, and then TV. I don't know why it's doubling. The software doesn't do that. There's some reason, play around with it. I'm sure that it's because I messed up and programmed it in to speak when it was going to speak automatically anyway. I think that might be the case. So if he wants to read the sentence in that whole menu up there, and of course that didn't work, but if he wants to erase it, this should work. Oh gosh, nothing's working up there for me. Actually, now my computer is just totally frozen. So hopefully that It looks like I have gone, I'm not sure what's happened, but I've lost my save and menu buttons. My computer is sort of spinning and freaking out. So I really am not sure what's going on, probably because I am Zooming, recording, and I have about 30 other things kind of up and running. It should work fine for you. And if you have help, of course, Mike can help, I can help. It should, right now, I should have the option to save it, but I don't know what happened. I'm just going to close out of it because I don't know. Let me open it again and see what happened. When you get back to your create activity, let me show you these two things, and then I'm going to log off and go talk to Professor Grimm. When you click on, when you get to your, you'll see your activities because I've saved it and I have the things. I don't have very many things here that I have saved. This one's actually one that I downloaded from the share site. So let me click on this one. No, it's not letting me. All right. So I'm totally frozen. I'm waiting for something that, okay, well, I don't know what's happening. Exit pages. I don't know. That's not happened to me before, but let me go back. Boardmaker Online. I would re-record this for you guys, but sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with, this would happen if we had gone, if we'd been doing it together in class for sure. There we go. All right, come on back. Maybe I might come back and edit this if I have time. Otherwise, I'm just going to send it to Mike and he can help you deal with changes. What I was trying to show you is when you open your activity there in that page, once you've created your activity, here we go. My Boardmaker, and then I see my activities. All right, and so here's the activity I just made. I'm not sure that everything's saved because of my computer freezing. When you go here, what you want to make sure to do, because otherwise Mike won't be able to find it when he comes in here. Click on the edit so that you're editing your activity. And actually, I might have just told you wrong anyway. Here we go. All right, so go to, I totally told you wrong, file, wrong. Let me leave the site here for a second because somewhere in here is where I want to, where I can add a tag to oh, in the description, sorry. Hit that little wrench in the description and then come in here and make sure to add UTK SPED 2020. And that'll be the hashtag that you need to add so that Mike can come in here and find your board. I'm gonna save this as MB Coleman 490 board, whatever. So just make sure that it has the description of UTK SPED 2020, and then Mike will be able to find it. The other thing you need to make sure to do, instead of privacy, it needs to go everyone, otherwise he will not be able to find it. You can add standards, you can add labels and stuff if you want to. Not necessary, it's really not necessary for you to do that for this assignment. But make sure to go into the little wrench. There we go, the little wrench, and then make sure that you have it saved as something that Mike will be able to find and use. All right, so this is, I'm gonna just try to problem solve, and then I really do have to go because I'm meeting Professor Grimm in 2 minutes. So, all right, I'm gonna come back in here, go back to edit. I think for that, the button that was saying it twice going into the message window, I think we want to have it not speak. I'm gonna come over here and open my pages. Whoops, okay, it was on the, it was on this one. And again, sorry, I use the software I can do in my sleep, and I have directions on my webpage for this and for the software, but the software directions are much more thorough. All right, so I'm going to tap on this chat, and I'm going to go down to actions. I'm going to have it not speak the text. I'm going to have it not, yeah, I want it to do that. So I'm not sure why it's saying it twice. Just let it say it twice. I honestly, in the software, I can tell you how to do it. If you can play around with it and get it work, the big thing is that we just want you to be able to make some communication boards that fit your kids' needs, that you use at least 3 different communicative functions. So academic responding can be one. You can have boards that have mixed things on it, but you want to just make sure that you are really clear in making something that does like academic responding, and then you want a dyadic conversation. So just make sure you can have, gosh, you guys, I've gone blank, but where they are making requests and getting help, but no more than one board about food. That's it, because everybody wants to make a bunch of boards about food. So if you make a McDonald's board that a kid could use when he goes to McDonald's, that's your one food board. I know it's a restaurant board, but that's the one board that you can use that has food on it. I hope this has been helpful. I'm sorry it was so scattered, but if you guys have questions, you can ask me or you can ask Mike. I hope it works for you. I hope you make some really cool stuff. And I might come in here and peek around too while my 30-day trial is still functioning. All right, bye guys. I miss you.